I grew up as an Irish person taught to hate the British. The story was simple. They starved us. They took our land, our language, and our confidence. And that is true, but there was a detail missing. The British are not one group. The same machine that colonised Ireland also chewed up and spat out huge parts of the British working class. I now live in London, in the heart of the imperial core, and this is the first place that I have ever felt socially safe. I've been told my whole life to hate the British, but I love living in Britain. Colonial infrastructure has one job: move resources, labour, from the periphery into the imperial core. In practice, that means all of Ireland's roads go from production centres, farms, mines, productive lands, to ports. These lines were designed around the export of crops and cattle. Ireland never had a dense internal rail system. We do not have trains or trams that link towns to each other. We only have trains and trams that link towns back to Dublin. That is because under British rule, Ireland was treated as a granary, a pasture, and a labour reserve. It was never seen as a territory that needed to be developed for its own people. That colonial legacy still lives with us today. It shapes your daily life in Ireland, and it makes the experience shit in really subtle ways. The famine and waves of emigration have hollowed Ireland out. Over the last 2 centuries, millions of people have left Ireland. Whole townlands have been emptied, and trauma sank in as common sense. Keep your head down, survive, do not draw attention to yourself. The result is we have much lower population density than Britain. Many rural towns may only have a pub, a shop, maybe a church, not much else. You have to drive long distances to go to places where you might meet somebody who thinks like yourself. Without dense public transport, social life is fixed to a few key pillars. You can socialise at work, you can socialise at school, you can go to the pub, but if you do not fit into those first and second spaces, so your family or your school friends, there is no third space for you. There's not even a train to the next place where you might meet people who think like you. There might not even be a bus. When people say that Ireland is friendly, they are referring to a surface level social script. Yes, we will smile at you in the shop. We will chat with you in the queue. But small talk is all you're getting, because underneath it, there is a deep fear of difference and a tight social script that still polices our behaviour. This is a very hard terrain for an autistic person. The Irish social script is drink, perform, and cop yourself on. You have to show up at the drinks. You have to take the slagging. Don't be seen to make a scene or have notions. Respectability culture overlaps with Catholicism. Don't embarrass the family. Don't talk about your feelings. You are only allowed to be wild in specific ways that meet the social script, like on a night out, at a wedding, when you're drunk. Car culture is a colonial control system. The lack of trains is not incompetence. It is not an accident. It is a social control mechanism. Car dependency does a few things. It makes everyone rely on having a private vehicle just to exist. It keeps teenagers and young adults stuck in their backwater towns unless somebody can drive them somewhere. It makes chance encounters and spontaneous socializing almost impossible. Truly the only way to meet somebody if you are dating in Ireland is on the apps. It also keeps all economic and social opportunities concentrated in a couple of key urban areas. If you want to meet people to socialise with and you do not live in Dublin, you need a car, money, and a reason to go. I went to London and met people who think like me. I felt validated rather than being treated as a problem that needed to be managed. In short, I found in England what I always wished Ireland had given me. That is a hard sentence to say, but it's the truth. There are 2 Britons: the crown and the crowd. To understand this, you have to split the British into its actual classes and cultures. On the one hand, there is the British establishment, the monarchy, big finance, the peerage, and this fantasy of empire grandeur. That is the one that I was taught to hate. But Irish people never get shown everyday Britain, the counter Britain that I experience now. The working class areas, rave culture, partying with Skepta on a canal boat. The pirate radio, the DIY venues, the local organising. The first version of Britain is what colonised Ireland, but that second version has far more in common with us than the schoolbook narrative will allow for. It is the same machine that cut through Irish land, that enclosed the commons of England, that crushed the miners. Trains are the first step. You think your car gives you freedom and autonomy, but you are at the mercy of the other people on the M50. Trains give you real freedom and autonomy. They change who you can meet, who you can love, how you can organise, and whether you can even stay in the country. London is not a utopia. The establishment is still running its empire fantasies. But the combination of infrastructure, population density, counterculture, and diaspora gave me oxygen. Ireland was never allowed to really build itself, and until we tear up that old colonial map, many more people like me will have to leave to feel real.